Have you ever heard the term always be marketing? Well, if you've been watching CPTV or if you're a CP insider, you've definitely heard it. And the reason is because it's true. Marketing is a critical piece of growing a successful business. If you feel like you don't have enough leads, if you feel like you're not making enough money in order to really make this thing go, 9 times out of 10, your biggest problem might be the fact that you're not doing enough marketing. It's one of the biggest questions that I receive. And today, my loves, I am going to show you all the steps, all the things, and all the ideas that you need to make marketing magic in your business. Let's get to work. All right, so marketing is one of those things that over the years I have learned a lot about. And in all of my businesses, I've tried so many different ways to market, from the very traditional ways of pounding on doors, making cold calls, billboards, newspapers, anything you could think of, I have done it. And what I have found is these 5 strategies that I've implemented into my business have really changed the game and made it more cost effective and easier for me to really truly market in my business. Because whether you like to believe it or not, as an entrepreneur, one of your primary jobs is going to be effectively marketing. You are always going to be the chief marketing officer of your organization. That vision, those goals, and those strategies really have to come from within you. So if you're having any problems with not having enough leads or not seeing enough sales or just not seeing your revenue where you ultimately want it to be, the biggest issue is probably not having these 5 things in place that I have found really truly create marketing magic. So let's get into the top 5, and I'll share with you what I've done and also give you some recommendations on what you need to do as well. The first thing that you really need to focus on in creating marketing magic is defining your niche. That is so important. You might be thinking that you need to make sure that you are keeping your market as wide open as possible. That's the natural thought process when you don't want to restrict yourself to sales or, restrict yourself from being able to help anyone or have an impact on anyone. But it's actually the opposite. The more that you're able to really truly niche down and be more specific, the more that you'll stand out. You need to really focus on understanding who your ideal client is, because when you do that, your marketing messaging speaks directly to their soul and you're more likely to convert a lot more. It is also a lot cheaper to speak directly to one individual person. And that's where niching down, really finding a target and identifying who your ideal client is so important. So if you're having a hard time attracting the right customer, you're not attracting enough customers, I would venture to tell you that this first way is probably your problem.
Oh, hell no!
And while it does feel counterintuitive to really narrow down your market, you might feel like you're restricting yourself. It's actually so much the opposite. For years in several of my businesses, I tried to keep my market as wide as possible, thinking I don't want to restrict myself, I don't want to stop myself. But the reality is, when you really do niche down, it makes it so much easier for you to talk to people. It makes it so much easier for you to connect with your ideal customer. And ultimately, you end up selling more. So you have to understand that client. You have to understand their challenges. You have to also understand what their pain points are. And then you'll figure out the right messaging to communicate how your skills, your talents, and what you're actually offering in your business is going to solve those problems. So this particular step, understanding your niche, niching down, finding an ideal customer, speaking directly to them, is really truly the most effective way and one of those top 5 ways to truly create marketing magic in your business. Now, the second way that I found that I'm able to kind of create some marketing magic in my business is by building a very strong brand. And oftentimes, especially when you're a newer entrepreneur, you think of your brand as simply being like your colors or your logo or your photos or your pictures. And that's really important as well. But your strong brand is really the promise to your clients. It's that vibe, that energy that you give them when they are in involved with your business in any way whatsoever, whether they are on your website or they're following you on social or they're communicating with you or they're actually customers and using your products and services, the brand that you're constantly communicating is going to be critical in who you attract and being able to help you convert more and be better at marketing. Your brand is also kind of what they feel when they are interacting with you and what you want them to feel. And you kind of know what I'm talking about. In the regular world, the non-entrepreneurial world, your brand is kind of your vibe. And you've met those people before, right? Somebody that when they walk into a room, you just kind of get this feeling about who they are. And that feeling directly impacts how you interact with them. Well, that is what you want to create in your business. Make sure that your visuals, your messaging, your online presence, everything that you are doing in your business reflects your values and reflects your professionalism and what you want to communicate to your audience. So if you want to attract a certain type of customer, which takes you back to the number one thing that I talked about, right? Understanding your niche, then you got to make sure that your business, what you're communicating and how you're putting yourself out there clearly attracts them and is consistent. So really, truly building a strong brand is something that will take consistency and strategy over time. But as long as you do that, that brand that you want to communicate will continue to follow you. It'll continue to grow and it'll continue to help you make marketing magic in your business always. Now, the third way that I have learned over the years to create marketing magic is that content is queen. I wasn't always a content marketer. I think I've talked about this before, and I would probably say it may have been about 6 or 7 years ago that I actually read a book called Content Inc. And Joe Paluzzi wrote the book. It is one of my favorite books of all time. If you've never read that book, I would definitely recommend that you check it out, Content Inc. And it really does talk about his philosophy behind being kind of the king and the inventor of content marketing. And it's truly focused around an inbound lead strategy, which is really what everybody wants. Like in my previous businesses, I had an outbound lead strategy. So I would just buy lists. They were very, very cold. And I was doing the outreach in order to be able to qualify those leads and really narrow it down and figure out who they are. Well, content gives you the opportunity to put out that expertise, put out the way that you're going to solve a particular audience's problem. And when you put that content out, very much so like CPTV, then the right people will ultimately connect with that content and they become inbound leads. So inbound lead strategy at its core is content marketing. Putting your information out there, your skills out there, your knowledge out there, which will ultimately attract leads to that content, which will then prompt them to come into your business. And that really qualifies them. A lot of folks still want to avoid putting out content. But I can tell you that an inbound lead strategy will definitely create marketing magic in your business. It's going to change the game, especially if you're someone who doesn't consider yourself to be a true extrovert. You're not out there like getting stuff and make cold calls isn't your thing, and you're not wanting to do those more traditional methods. Having an inbound content marketing strategy is going to be important, and at the core of that is content. So if you haven't already adopted this concept and you're having a hard time understanding what I'm saying, please read the book. It gives you the entire history of what content is. It talks about why content is so critical and why content is king and queen. And ultimately, that is huge, going to be so huge for you in making marketing magic for your business. So please make sure that you create some type of content strategy, because inbound leads are going to just be better. They're going to be warmer, they're going to be hotter, they're going to convert higher, and ultimately they're going to stay with you longer and continue to be a part of your family where you can just kind of create that tribe. So if you don't have content, you got to get with the program. You know what I'm saying? Because content is where it's at. And it's definitely one of the top 5 ways that once I added it into my business has changed the game and allowed me to truly create that marketing magic that we all want and deserve. Now, if you're feeling me, you know the drill. Make sure that you take and you like this video, you share it, you subscribe. Don't cost you a damn thing, but it really helps the channel grow and allows me to continue to create this type of content to help support your entrepreneurial journey. Now, the fourth way that I create marketing magic in my business is to leverage social media. I know. So many of you tell me that you hate social media, right? You don't like it, or you're afraid of it, or you don't understand it, or you don't know what to do with it. But I can tell you that social media is where it's at. I mean, especially from a small business and entrepreneurial perspective, it is going to truly give you the opportunity to reach the masses very cost effectively. And at the core of it is what I talked about in my third strategy, which is content, and you've got to be able to put it out there. So, if you're fearful of social media and you have yet to really embrace it, I need you to kind of get with the program, and I need you to meet someone that I think you've all been missing because I've heard you. And I want to make sure that if you're new here, that you have the opportunity to meet Asher too, because this is my trusty elephant Asher, and when you see him, it means
Asher, as referred to in the Urban Dictionary as Asher syndrome, means the distinct inability to get your shit together.
yes, my love. You have got to get your shit all the way together when it comes to social media. Entrepreneurship is oftentimes going to put you in a position where you're going to have to do things outside of your comfort zone. You're not always going to get what you want to do if you want to be successful. You're going to have to ask yourself, how much am I really willing to give? And you've got to overcome your fears when it comes to social media. You've got to be consistent. You have got to utilize this opportunity. The last thing you want is 5 years from now, all of a sudden everybody's charging just for you to be on a platform. And you will have missed a golden opportunity to have access to cost-effective, very, very, very effective making marketing magic in your business. So get over the excuses. I don't like social media. I'm not on it. I don't understand it. I'm afraid of it. Whatever it is, you remember Asher, get your shit all the way together, my love, because social media is going to really ultimately, embracing it is going to really ultimately help you make marketing magic in your business. Being consistent in it, doing it, loving it, embracing it, being on it, putting yourself out there, all of those things is going to be critical. And if you don't have a social media component in your marketing strategy, you're never really going to get to the leads and to the sales that you ultimately want to see in your business. And the number 5 way that I have been making marketing magic in my business is really a face-to-face strategy, and it is networking. Yes, I don't ever want you to underestimate the power of a strong network. It is critical. As a consultant for years, I have always, and actually the majority of my large ticket consulting clients now come from referrals. And that is because I have developed a strong network over the years. Networking is more than just about events or going and ultimately meeting people. It's also about your face-to-face presence and the involvement that you have in your community, with your clients, and with the people that you interact with. If networking is a soft spot for you and it is something that you are struggling with, I want you to make sure that you check out my video here that I just did to empower you to embrace and become a genius, a boss, a pro at networking. The tips that are in this video are definitely golden nuggets. You have to incorporate them and really begin to embrace them, because networking is a critical strategy for my business. So never underestimate the power of a strong network. I want you to make sure that you're attending industry events, join relevant groups, connect with other professionals. Referrals are absolutely golden. They will convert the highest. They will also be the highest paying clients. They're the easiest. You don't have to sell them. So truly, truly, truly creating marketing magic in your business cannot happen without this particular component. And it's one of my favorite ways. It's been a long-term way for me for 25 years. And if you're not out there networking, you've got to add it in immediately, because it will definitely change the game from a marketing perspective for you and your business and help you make marketing magic of your dreams in your empire. All right, so let's recap the 5 ways that you can create marketing magic in your business. Way number 1, please define your niche. Niche down, figure out who your customer is, and make sure that you understand them and can communicate directly with them. Number 2, build a very strong brand. It is your reputation, and you want to make sure that it is consistent across the board. Number 3, content is queen. Get with the content program, my love. Make it, put it out there, and do number 4, which which is leveraging social media. You remember Asher? Do I need to bring him back out here? All right, get your whole social media life together because it is going to be critical to creating marketing magic. And number 5, networking. It is a face-to-face strategy. It is an old school strategy, but it works 100% of the time. So there you have it, my love. The 5 ways that I have created marketing magic in my business. If you're not doing one or all or any of these 5, pick a couple, implement, and see how it will impact your journey, bring in some new customers, and help you build the business of your dreams into a life of freedom that you so deserve and desire. Until next time, my loves, I will see you soon. Have a great week. Bye-bye. Mwah!